Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Entropic Killer Dots. And you can see there Sleuth, in what looks probably like a crime lab, studying a set of killer dots. It looks like killer insects to me, or who knows, might be tiny nanobots that are going around killing people. And you can see almost like a look of fear as Sleuth is studying that box of these killer dots. Now, before we take a look at today's puzzle, I just wanted to sort of ask for your help. So, I've been, there's a few reasons why I'm thinking about this. One is you may remember a conversation that we were having in the comments about, I think it was Florian that used that word, the inflation of the difficulty of puzzles. And I'm almost absolutely certain that the puzzles that I'm solving on this channel are steadily getting harder. But at the same time, if you're playing essentially and recording 45 to 50 puzzles a month, between having one every day, twice on weekend, a few on Patreon, some on live, I am solving sort of a fairly large number of puzzles, and I think I'm just really getting a lot better. Solving a 3-star puzzle, for example, in about 35 minutes or so is a very good example of that. And what I don't want to do is essentially develop this channel into something that focuses on, a relatively small band of the puzzle solving community where it sort of tailors to, exceptional solvers as opposed to kind of a much larger set of audience. Now, I caught Mrs. Sleuth playing like a puzzle the other day, and I'm trying to persuade her to do like a weekly special on the channel where she would take essentially like a Tuesday slot and solve essentially like a gas-like or similar puzzle that's going to be highly approachable for beginners. And having her rather than me solving it means that the time would still look pretty reasonable as opposed to somewhat intimidating for in the beginning where I'm solving it in like, a handful of minutes and it takes a more like 20, 25. So if you think that's a good idea, please do leave a comment down below. That's where I need your help. I'm almost successful in persuading her, but I think your support will probably go a long way to making this happen. Right, on to the puzzle. So, Entropic Killer Dots by PDN. And we've got clearly a lot of Kropki dots all over the place. I don't know if they're killers, but okay. Maybe the killer cages. Yep, that's the reference. And I'm going to guess the reference to entropy is all of these. How am I going to describe this color? Orange? Pale orange? That's what I'm going to go with. So let's take a look at the rule sets that I hope will explain everything I just outlined. So, normal Sudoku rules apply, fairly straightforward. Place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Then we have the killer cage rule. So, digits in a cage must sum to the little number in the upper left. So, if we take this cage, for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cells contained within this dashed line, and they must sum up to the number 14. Now, I really don't want to... Maybe 19 is a better example. Yeah, I don't want to give an example. I think if I start showing you with an example, maybe the 19 will be fine. So if I put my favorite digit 2 in here, that means that these two digits have to add up to 17, and I can do so with 8 and 9, so that on aggregate, these 3 cells add up to 19. So that would be killer cages. We also have Kropki dots. So neighboring digits marked with a white Kropki dot are consecutive. Well, lucky I came up with that example, didn't I? So essentially what it's saying is if I put a 2 in here, this digit here, which is a neighbor connected with that white Kropki dot, has to be consecutive to the 2. So that would be 1 or 3. Both of these would be consecutive. They're good candidates. They're terrible candidates for the killer cage, by the way, but they're good candidates for the white Kropki dot. We also have neighboring digits with a black Kropki dot have a 2 to 1 ratio. So continuing with our 2 example, that could be a 2, That might be a 1 then, as in 2 to 1, but that could also be a 4. As long as one cell is double of the other in that black Kropki domino, you are good to go. Not all dots are given, so the absence of a black dot between these two cells doesn't make this a problem. You can still have digits that are neighbors that are 2 to 1 or indeed consecutive. And yes, indeed, the last thing we have is that PDN called it beige. I object. It is pale orange. So the beige line, which you can see is essentially looping all the way around here, and there's tons of them outside of that large loop in the middle, is an entropic line. So essentially it must contain a low digit, a middle digit, and a high digit in any set of 3 sequential cells. Now, kind of a long way of saying is, I don't know what the order is, but if I assume, for example, that is high, these two would have to be from middle or low. I'm using sort of thermometer colors. Red is high, 7, 8, or 9. Yellow is middle, 4, 5, or 6. And blue is low, 1, 2, or 3. Now, just the fact that I happen to have them almost like in an order isn't really required. So I can absolutely reverse these. And that would be a valid entropic line. Obviously, we would have to repeat it because any consecutive 3 cells have to have the same rules. So the fact that this is the order here, that would make this a yellow. That would make this a red, and so on and so forth. And then essentially, whatever these cells are will be from 7, 8, and 9. This will be from 1, 2, 3. This will be from 4, 5, 6. And that would be a valid pencil marking, I guess, of this particular entropy line. Right. Only thing left to say now is, if you're not intimidated by the idea, and you should be really, of entropic killer dots made up of nanobots, link will be in the description down below for you to play along as usual. And all that's left for me to do is to restart the clock and see how I get on. So in particular, I'm looking at this 14 cage and this 26 cage. And I have a huge suspicion, because you can see that one set of the entropic set, sorry, excuse me, I just need to blow my nose. I'm going to just pause the video. Right, sorry about that. I think it's just the cold settling in. It's -1 this morning as I record here in London, so it is unusually cold for us here in the UK at the moment. Right, where was I? So whatever these two colors, and I'm deliberately going to use something other than blue, red, and yellow. Let's go with purple. They're going to be the same. That's going to be different, and that's going to be different. Now, I think if this color is anything other than blue, we're in trouble. Because if I don't have 2 blues in this cage, the minimum I can make this would be 4 and 5, as in the 2 lowest yellow digits, middle digits. That's already at 9. At least 1 high digit, let's say a 7, so we're already at 16, and then a low digit, let's say 1. So we're already at 17, clearly doesn't fit inside that 14 cage. So a long way of saying is that I am absolutely certain that these are blue. I don't know if I'm going to color these just yet. Then what I can do is essentially go skip 2 cells and then color the next one and just repeat that all the way around, hopefully making no mistakes that will be difficult to spot later, and all of these are going to be blue cells. Tell me I got this the right way around. And I think I did. Right. 26, although this is actually quite interesting. Yeah, don't get distracted, Sleuth. Let's go back to 26, because that's probably going to sort of be the break-in that we need for this puzzle, and we can actually start placing digits. So 26, now I think it's almost like the opposite of what we just said about 14, in that these two likely have to be red. So if there aren't 2 reds in this cage, if both of these are yellow and this is red, let's just try and maximize this and see how close to 26 do we get. So 5 and 6 are the maximum these can be, that's 11. And then I need these 2 cells to add up to the remainder of 15. Frankly, impossible if one of these digits is 1, 2, and 3. So I think that definitely confirms, I mean, I didn't really sort of do the maths, but if that's 5, 6, and I'm maximizing everything, 5 and 6 and 3, that's 14, and 9, that's 23. So that just doesn't work. These have to be red. This has to be yellow. And we can just color this entire giant entropy line. Am I doing these correct? Yeah, I think I am. Maybe easier to do them one color at a time. I know it's a little bit more laborious for you guys, but probably not as laborious as seeing me having to rewind my solve to solve something. Right, that's 4, 6. That's lovely. This has to be a middle digit, and this has to be a low digit. So again, this is 4, 6. This will have to be 2, 3. These are on an entropy line. So, I mean, the options here, if you think about black Kropki dots, 2, 3, and 8. And the same thing is 2, 3, and 8. But these two colors, again, because they are 3 cells apart, 1, 2, 3, have to be the same color. So if I use 8 in this, I think that will break it. These have to be both blue. And then I'll come back to this. Oh, this is blue as well. So this is 1. That's our first digit. I'm sure we can do more, but, let's just keep going. This is another 4, 6. This is either 3, 2, or 8. We probably can do a lot more now. 2, 3. This includes a 1 for sure. I'm kind of half tempted to just solve these cages next. This is definitely an 8. That's a second digit we can place. Therefore, this is definitely a 4. The only, from the black Kropki dot set, which is essentially 1, 2, 4, and 8, and 3, 6, you can see the only available high digits in this can only be the 8. That's 7, 9. I don't know if I'm going to color cells outside of the entropy lines. I'm not sure they're going to be needed. They usually tend to help with the solve, but I don't think they're needed. That 8 removes this 8, so that's 2, 3. That's another 1. Got a 4, 6 pair. That gives us a 5. That's another 4, 6. And I imagine there's enough information here for us to solve this for sure. So there's definitely a 1 in here because of that 2, 3. I imagine as well, without a 1, it'll probably be too big. 2, 3 would be a 5. With a minimum of 4, that's 9. And somehow this cell, which is a high digit, has to be now 9. So we always needed to have a 1. 6, I think, is too big. Even if I minimize these, 1 and 2, that would give me 3 with the 6. That would be a 9. And we're back to having to put a 5 in a red cell. So that is definitely a 4. That is definitely a 6. That's 3. That's 4. That's 2. And we know these now are from 1 and 2. With a 4, that's a 7. To complete and get to 14, that's another 7. That's from 8 and 9. This is 8 or 9 now. We've got 7 and 8 looking at it. It's actually just 9. That's 7. That's 9. And we're off to a pretty good start already. Right, we can color this entropy line now. Red, red. Yeah, sorry. I was having like a senior moment there in terms of trying to place blue and struggling. That's blue. These are 2, 3 pairs. I did say I'm not going to color outside it. I may end up regretting this. This is 8 or 7. This is, well, we don't know what this is. This is 5 or 6. Let's just look elsewhere. So that 4 cage, oh, that 9 gives us an 8. That 14 rather than 4 cage. We can probably solve the 26 cage, I strongly suspect. So let's see if we've got something similar. If we didn't have a 1 in here, if we don't have a 9, as in this is 7 and 8, with a 6, we're already at 6, 7, 8, 21, and therefore we have to place again a 5. There's that obsession with 5 here. So this is clearly a 9. If it's only 7 and 9, that would be 16, and then these two cells would have to be 10. That is not possible. Even if that's a 6, I don't have 4 available as an option, being a blue cell. So that is 8, 9. That is a 7. That is an 8. We now have 17. We need, I'm going to say 9 to be placed. I think the only way I can do it would be 6 and 3. Because if this is a 2, that would be a 7, and clearly breaks it in many ways. So that's 6, that's 3, that's 2. That's 4, therefore. That's 2. That's 3. That's 6. That's now 5. A flurry of activities all of a sudden. We know what this cell is. That's a 5. I mean, we knew that cell because we placed all the other middle digits way earlier. Do I know anything else about any of these? Not really. 1, 2, 1, 3. Yeah, not really. I mean, too early to do these. Maybe let's just use some of these black Kropki dots for a second. Such as, this is not a 3-6 set. Because in box 6, we've got 3 and 6. Disallowing this, this is from 1, 2, 4, and 8. We have 1 and 2 and 8 staring all at this cell. This can only be a 4. This would have to be, it can't be a 2. We've already got it in the column. So that's an 8. That gives us the 9, the 8 as well. 2 and 4 are looking at this black Kropki dot. Once 2 and 4 are gone, if you think about black Kropki dots, they're always going to have from the 1, 2, 4, 8 set at least one of 2 or 4. They're both gone. That forces this to be 3, 6. Do I actually know what they are? Not yet. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go around just with random pencil marks at this point. Let's see if there is easier fish to fry, so to speak. So I need a 6 in here, and then 1, 2, and 3. Not sure. I don't know a lot about this entropy line at the top, and I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought by now I would know more. And I really don't. 2, looking at a 3. Come on, Sleuth. We need another 1, 2, and 6, which can actually be still anywhere. Well, the 1, 2, sorry, the second 1, 2 is not in this box. That's a 6. That's another 1, 2. That's a 1, 2 pair. That is a 3, 6 pair. These are 5 and 9. This is now a known set. Actually, I say a known set. Yeah, we don't know what this is yet. How do we not know it? Yeah, we don't have anything to actually help us. Okay. What else do we know? You know, I'm sort of partially, like a little bit, regretting not coloring out, outside of the entropy line. It does make it a little bit harder to spot things. So let's think maybe about the 19 cage. Because when I was trying to come up with an example for the killer cages in the rule description, like very few things actually would have made this not solvable. So let's think about this. We have essentially 2 consecutive digits, therefore they're an odd digit, because essentially I have an even digit and an odd digit. I don't know which one they are, but they sum up to an odd digit. Then we have an even digit in here, which can only be 2 or 8. To make sure that on aggregate, they add up to the odd digit, which is 19. Now, if that's 8, that would be 11. And the only way I know how to do that in a white Kropki dot would be 5, 6, which is not available. So that's 2. Ironic, because that was my example when explaining the rules. Therefore, this is 8 and 9. These are forcing an order. That's 9 and 8. 8 and 9 are up here now. 8 is there. 8, 9 is there. It's kind of almost forcing a red cell in this entropy line, and red here, and then 2 yellows. Almost forcing it, not quite. With these done, just checking if there's anything else that I gained from this other than just solving these at the bottom. It doesn't feel like it does. It does give me a 1 here, a 2 there. 2 is placed now. I can fill in this 3, or at least pencil mark them. This is a 2 here. I need 4 and 7. That 4 tells me the order. That's 4, that's 7. I can probably complete column 5 now. I need 1, 3, and 9. That's 1 or 9. Is it? No. 9 is already here. 1, 3, or 5, excuse me. Well, that's not 3 because of the 3, 6. So that's 1 or 5. That seems to be any of them. So 1, 3, 6. 1, 5 on here. So I think that the reason I really haven't looked at these entropy lines is there are only 3 cells. And therefore, they're very difficult to color. I say they're very difficult to color. So for example, I need a low digit on this. This is not low. 2 and 3 are in the box. So I know this has a 1 in here. Now, essentially, if this is a middle digit, like 5, this would be a high digit with the 1. So it would be a 1, 7 pair with 1 here, 7 here because of this cell. The other option would be that this is a high digit, and therefore I would need a low digit in here, which would be a 5, because 6 and 4 look at this line, and then I would have 1 in any order and 5 in any order. So we have a third 1, 5, 7, and then a 4 somewhere in here. It is there just by Sudoku. That's 1, 5, 7. Row 5 maybe next. That's not 1 actually. So in here we have a third of the 1, 5, 7s. It's not a 7. We have a third from 1 and 5 and a 3. And I don't know the order of these. Suddenly it started to get a bit tough, didn't it? Or maybe I'm just being very slow, like not seeing obvious Sudokus. 6, 3, 1, 5. That is 1. I don't know why I had a 6 in here. I meant to pencil mark a 3. Sorry, a 5. That's a 3. That 1 gives me the 5, the 9, the 7, the 5. Did I just make a mistake? A silly mistake. Yes, the 1, excuse me, the 7, and the 5. Got 7. This is from 8 or 9. Really not enough information. In fact, these are both from 8 and 9. That's the more interesting bit. So that is red. I can color these now. These are yellow. I have a yellow and a red on the outside. This is 4 or 6. Well, it's 5 because I got 4 and 6 looking at it. I meant to say this is 5 because there's 4 and 6 looking at it. Same thing here. That's 6. I need to place a 4 in row 1, which can only be here because of this 4. This is 7. Needs to be a red digit. It's not 8 or 9. It's 7. 3. That's another 8, 9. Tell me that's not another 8, 9. It can't be because 8 is in here. I need a 7. And this 7 tells me that this is the 7. This is the 8, 9. Well, it's just 9 because we've already placed the 8 in the same box. 8. That's a 2. And then we have 7, 1 and 7. 7 gives me the order again. That 7 has done a lot of work for us today. Hard-working 7. That's a 9. And the 3, 6 that are down here are not resolved. What about the 3, 5? Yes, they are. That's the 3. That's the 5. That's the 3. That's the 6. That's pretty much nearly everything done. I need a low digit and a high digit. Got all the high digits looking at this cell. This has to be a middle digit. I meant to say not low. It is not 4 or 5. It is a 6. This is from 7, 8, and 9. We've got 7 and 8 looking at it. That's a 9. I really should color these for consistency. You wouldn't want some entropy lines without colors, would you? And then we can just write in the remaining digits. Pretty sure. We can definitely write this one in. It is... Sometimes it really takes me a very long time to scan these things. 5. I need a 4 in this cage. In this box. 7. I've got all the high digits. I need 6 and 1. That's the 1 because of this one. That's the 6. And if I've not made any mistakes, that's an 8 for a finish of today's puzzle. It's another lovely puzzle, PDN. I mean, thank you so much for the recent almost series of these. You've defeated entropy's solution. Order found. Restoring order from entropy. Phenomenal. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, of course. And yeah, let's see if we can get Mrs. Sleuth to bow down to peer pressure. See you guys for the next video. Bye-bye for now.